McMullen McDonald here with you on Birds 365. Happy Football Friday, everybody. Happy opening day while you're at it. We're watching the Phillies later on today. But we're talking Birds this morning. We're one of the best in the business. He covers the whole league for 3013.com and the Eagles specifically for us here at JAKIBSports.com. Mr. Paul Domowitch. Domo, if you had to, right here, right now, could you do a hip drop tackle?
Well, I think my 2 hip replacements might prevent that. So, no.
Hey, Domo, my question is, how long have you been covering this league, if you can do the math on that? And when did you first hear the term hip drop tackle?
I've probably heard it a few times over the years, but, never until they decided people were getting hurt from it, and nobody ever, it was kind of mentioned like a shoestring catch or a,
That's a good one.
I never heard that term, and I can't beat you, but I've been covering the league for a quarter of a century. I never heard that term till last year. I never heard that term. Jody brought it up on the show. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I don't know what it is.
They weren't using the term when the leather, when I was covering them with leather helmets. So
there you go. Yeah, Damo's been at this a while. All right, so they came up with this decision. They're quote unquote banning it, which means it's going to be a penalty and/or it's going to be a fine. And Troy Vincent is certainly dropped hints, if not come right out and said it, because he can't. Don't expect a ton of flags on this. But this is something we're going to evaluate after the fact. They kept comparing it to the helmet rule, using your helmet rule. And that has certainly equated more to fines after the fact than penalties while in play. I don't like it either way, but it's less egregious if they're just going to make the guys pay a fine after the fact, that it's not major changing of the game 15 yards at a key juncture. So that lessens the stench of it, at least for me, a little bit. But here's the ancillary effect. I don't know if you saw Darius Slay say on social media, get ready for the missed tackles, everybody, because guys aren't going to want to pull a guy down. They're not going to bother because they don't want to get in 17 grand, 34 grand, 60 grand after the fact. Is it going to have an effect on the way guys do or don't tackle next year in the league, Domo?
Well, none on Darius Slay since he wasn't tackling beforehand.
So shot on Slay, score.
Yeah, that's an easy one. That's low hanging fruits right there.
They're not thinking when they're tackling them. They're trying to bring a guy down, and they don't think twice about the fines either. John Runyon's the guy that does the fining for Troy, and they've been. You've seen this with a lot of different infractions where, like you said, no flags, but they get a letter on Friday saying, "Oh, by the way, you've been fined $40,000 for this, for saying this or doing this." So I don't think it's going to impact tackling. I don't know. That's Darius Slay shouldn't say stupid stuff like that because it sets everybody up to get on him when he misses a tackle.
Yeah, Slay doesn't think it that far.
That's true.
He's just going to react off the top of his head. That's Slay.
He's in the moment. He's like Nick Sirianni. He's in the moment. He's a little bit too emotional. But I don't know if you heard when you're in the green room, but Jody and I were talking about Hassan Reddick April 1st. Yeah. I'm not concerned with that $1 million at all. I think Jeffrey Lurie will say, all right, give him the money. We'll continue waiting it out. Jody's a little bit more concerned that they might have to get in the realm of releasing him. I don't think there's any way they're releasing him. Am I wrong on that one?
No, I agree with you, John. I think we're going to see them at least wait until the draft when teams are a little bit more willing to give you something of value on the clock for a player like that if they've missed getting an edge rusher that they wanted in the first round, second round. No, I think he'll swallow the $1 million and hang on to him for a while. I'm still not sure he's not going to be here, so we'll see.
But let me ask you this. What's going to change in their evaluation or valuation of Hassan Reddick? They've gotten to the point you'd have to think they put it on the table as to what they think he's really worth. They're in good salary cap position now. They're going to get even better when they get after June 1st and get to spread Kelsey and Fletcher Cox's retirement. Is that what they're waiting for till after June 1st when they do have a little bit more salary cap flexibility? Because all I keep reading is Eagles have the 8th most salary cap room. Eagles have the 6th most salary cap room. They've done a great job, Howie and Jake Rosenberg, of managing the cap. Do they just not reach what in Hassan Reddick's mind he's really worth number? What would make them change, or what would make Hassan go, yeah, right, I'll play for less, after he's been holding his ground to this the entire time?
Well, from Reddick's standpoint, I mean, if he doesn't get any offers out there where he's not going to get more money, I would think he'd rather stay close to his hometown, even if it means swallowing his pride a little bit. From their standpoint, we go through the draft. If they don't end up getting a young edge rusher early on, it changes their stance maybe a little bit towards being willing to add a few dollars to Reddick's contract and keep him around for one more year. So, things can change. I mean, that's why nobody's in a hurry right now.
Can I add something to what you just said? And it's a pet peeve of mine with just fans in general, not just Philly fans, but maybe Philly fans a little bit more, but fans across the country. The whole stay-at-home factor. How'd staying at home work for DeAndre Swift? How'd staying at home work for Olamide Zaccheaus? He's heading down the turnpike to go play for the Commanders next year. People get so jacked up when a guy who played high school nearby or whatever, coming home, he's going to be so much better coming home.
Why TJ went to Chicago, though?
Well, right. It cuts both ways.
Yeah.
Do I think Hassan Reddick's going to bend over backwards and say, yeah, give me less because I'm a Temple guy? No, I don't. I think he's going to be in camp. If they wait all the way till the season starts, John has continually said Hassan missed out on holding in last year. Well, if he should have held in last year, I guarantee you he's holding in this year. With Hassan Reddick, the Eagles are going to open camp. We're not going to see Hassan Reddick in uniform for weeks, maybe months. Maybe he miraculously gets better the week before the season starts, before he's got to get on the plane for Brazil. I have worries, Domo. This is not playing out well for my money.
You could be right, Jody. And I'm not suggesting, that he's going to take less to play here because he's from Camden or Haddon Heights or wherever you call his hometown. I just think it's a factor. I mean, his family's here, so if all things being equal, they haven't burned the bridge with him.
That's true. That's good on both sides.
They haven't said anything publicly to get him mad. So, I mean, I just think everything's still on the table here.
Yeah, and I think every situation's a little bit different, Tom. In the case of Olamide, maybe would like to stay, but he doesn't have the opportunity. There's another. Nick Sirianni said, as long as I'm here, Olamide Zaccheaus is going to have a role in my offense. Well, It's not his offense anymore. And Olamide's down in Washington. Didn't really have an opportunity to stay. But I will say this about Hassan. I can't imagine, and I'm with you. I think right now I've teetered towards he's going to be back more than he's going to be gone. But he's not making less money than Bryce Huff. So he's not, they're going to have to tweak it somehow. A one-year deal, make all the money guaranteed, get him up to 18, 19, 20 million. Then he might swallow his pride. But there's no way he's playing for less money than Bryce Huff. Nor should he, I think. That's my take on it. Yours?
Yeah, and I think they have enough cap flexibility for Howie to be a little bit creative here without breaking the bank, to make him happy enough so that he saves face and looks like he's, where he's happy.
All right, we brought up Olamide. John, thank you for reminding me of Sirianni's quote. Oh, he'll always have a role until he doesn't. So he moves down the turnpike. Have they done a good enough job to this point replacing Quez Watkins and Olamide Zaccheaus? Now, I know it's kind of a low bar that we're setting here.
And Julio.
And Julio. Well, Julio's still out there, right? Did Julio sign?
Yeah.
Who did he sign with? I didn't see that.
No, he didn't sign. He's still out.
Oh, he hasn't signed. So Julio could be back.
No,
So
he's still free agent. Yeah.
Right, because Quez is officially done. He's on another team. Alameda officially done. He's on another team. Julio could be back. Don't discount that. So until you sign with another team, you're in the gray area in the middle. Paris Campbell, is that enough? Devontae Parker, is that enough, Damo? How would you rate the Eagles signing of different wide receivers not named Smith and or Brown?
Yeah, I mean, I'm underwhelmed with both of those guys. I mean, Parker's, I think, toast. I don't know what he's got left. The separation numbers from the last 4 years pretty much tell you all you need to know about Devontae Parker. Paris Campbell, 5.2 yards per catch last year. I mean, come on. Could one of them be the third receiver? I guess.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I think the number 3 receiver could come out of the draft. It could be a guy that they're going to pick up here in the next few months. We're talking about a slot guy. So, let's see how the offense changes with Kellen Moore. Maybe that number 3 wide receiver is going to be insignificant. It was insignificant last year. I mean, pretty much. The slot receivers last year, I mean, the number 3 receivers caught very little passes. So, they're going to use the running backs more. They're going to use Goddard more. So, I don't know. But the 2 guys they got on their roster right now don't do anything for me in Paris Campbell and Devontae Parker.
Well, if Devontae Parker's cooked, Damo, he's the replacement for Julio Jones. You just pencil those 2 in. They counteract each other. With Paris Campbell, I brought this up yesterday. Howie seems to be on this nostalgia kick. Yeah. Well, I liked him in the draft. Let's bring him in. All right. He's played 5 years and he's been terrible for 4 of them.
Yeah.
And you could argue terrible for 5, to be honest. He's better than J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, but that's about it.
Hey, Jalen Reagor will be back soon.
Oh, don't go there, Damo. Don't say that out loud. Even if you think it, keep it to yourself. Don't say it out loud. You're only going to get yourself in trouble.
No, Howie has this nasty habit of doing this.
Yeah.
Where he just, guys he missed on that he liked.
Kenny Pickett. He's there with the binoculars. Saquon Barkley. Now everybody likes Saquon coming out, but it's 2018.
Yeah.
Now it's 2024. Last time I looked, that's a long time in the NFL. Is he too nostalgic?
I think he is. Yeah. I think he does that too often. You like you said, 2018. You've got to factor in what a guy's done in the 6 years since or 5 years since, and you hopefully that changes your, or at least alters your opinion of what you thought of him when he got drafted. But how he tends to, what he liked then, he likes now. It's kind of like chocolate chip cookies.
All right, let's put Howie Roseman to the test here, Damo, and not go into the way back machine, but the more recent back machine. If you've done this exercise, then you'll know your answer right off the top of the head. If not, you have to think about it for a second. Feel free. Last year's Howie Roseman draft, what kind of grade would you stick on it for what Howie took in last year's draft? Because we give Howie credit all the time. John calls him the best general manager in football. I call him one of the best general managers in football. We both praise him pretty effectively. How would you rate Howie's draft last year, knowing full well to give it an honest grade, a true grade? You got to wait 3, 4, 5 years. So it's a short-term look at it. It's 1 year. Take for it what you will. But what kind of grade would you throw on Howie's draft 11 months after it happened?
Give me the 3 guys after Carter.
Nolan Smith,
Sid Brown, Tyler Steen.
Yeah. Right now, I still think Jalen Carter is going to be a terrific player, but that's a B- draft right now.
Yeah, I don't even think it's that.
Yeah, we don't know. Tyler Steen, jury's out. Nolan Smith, the jury's out. Neither one has played much, which was a disappointment that that their snaps last year were so few. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I got the most hope in Kaylee Ringo. I like the way he looked at the end of last season. Sidney Brown, I think, we'll have to see when he comes back from the torn ACL. I think he showed some significant signs as well. Tyler Steen, I was interested at the owners' meetings. Boy, Nick really downplayed Tyler Steen. So I've kind of tempered my excitement over him. Nolan Smith, I don't know what to think other than hopefully he got in the weight room in the off season. Hopefully the procedure he had fixed his shoulder, and maybe you can turn into the prospect people thought he was. And then Tanner McKee, Moro Ujoma are kind of like flyers hits at the late part of the draft. Obviously, there's a lot of hype. Do they believe in Tanner McKee enough to be the backup quarterback? No, absolutely not. So people should pump the brakes on him as well. But I mean, if Jalen Carter turns into an all-pro, and I think he will, it's going to look pretty good long term. One of the or two of those other guys will be contributors, I think.
Right. Snapshot look. I asked for it today. Yeah. Could a year from now the C grade that Howie gets be a B plus? Absolutely. If Jalen Carter plays all 17 games rather than 8 or 9 and has a major drop off, and Sidney Brown gets to just play his regular position of safety. Yeah, it's open ended as far as evaluation goes, but right now it's a C draft as far as I'm concerned.
The success of that defense rests with their last 2 number 1 picks.
Yes, it does.
I'm not just talking this year. I'm talking the next 2, 3, 4 years. I mean, if Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter are anything less than Pro Bowl players, they've missed the boat, and it's going to really hurt them long term.
All right. I love bands. God love them, Damo. Now that the Eagles are losing Jake Rosenberg, they didn't know who he was to begin with. So now he's a pencil pushing nerd. I see in the comments. There's a bunch of pencil pushing nerds that can easily replace him. Is it that simple? The Eagles have been talking him up for years and years and years. Now he wants to leave, doesn't see the path to becoming a GM here because it's the GM factory, Damo. There's 4 or 5 future GMs in front of him. Is that going to be meaningful or non-meaningful or somewhere in between, as usually it is?
Well, I mean, it's less meaningful than losing an edge
player.
Yeah. I mean, Jake was good at what he did. He was a good cap guy, good contract negotiator. He had been with Howie for a long time, understood Howie's thinking. So they were, he didn't have to run to him every time he was doing a contract. But like you said, I mean, he's not really a football guy. He wants to be a GM, but and there are some that around the league that aren't necessarily football guys that somebody hires as a GM, and maybe that'll happen with him. But
and by the way, Howie created that path. Yeah,
exactly. That path. Yeah. And he learned, Howie then, I mean, to Howie's credit, and to Andy Reid's credit, and Joe Banner, who put him in personnel and had him learn the business, he became a good talent evaluator, although people still aren't ever going to give him credit for that because he's not a football guy. But, he's getting back to Jake, he's kind of lost in this, or was lost in this organization right now with, with guys like Alec Hackabee and Ferrari, who's their rules guy. And they've got a young cap guy they really like, Bryce Johnson. Yeah. So I think maybe Jake just thought, I'm going to go someplace else and try my luck.
All right, we got to do this every once in a while, Damo, when we've gone a couple of days without talking about the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's the case. Have we mentioned Jalen Hurts' name once this week, John? No. I don't think so.
Well, we did with Justin Fields. I was surprised our buddy John Stolness said, Eagles fans, now I took a shot at him. Now I'm going to give him more credit, Tomo. They would be hankering for Justin Fields if Jalen Hurts played poorly, if he were the backup here. Boy, I don't think that's the case. You think I'm wrong on that one?
If he struggled really badly, I don't think he'd have to play much. Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean,
all right.
These fans are
Probably is. Yeah, probably is. Probably
And
is.
I'll add to that. And they could do that with Kenny Pickett this year.
They
So
could.
my question was Pickett or Fields? Give me Fields because he's the better player, my personal opinion. And John made the argument, if Fields is, they'll be asking for him to start if Jalen throws 3 straight incompletions. That's just fans in general. Doesn't matter who the hell the backup is. Put the backup in. Our starter just threw 3 incompletes, and the third one was a pick. Get his ass off the field. That's going to happen with anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it is a provincial.
That's not a Philly thing. Take it from a guy who does a national show. That's a Bronco thing. That's a Charger thing. That's a Falcon thing. That's every team. That's fans everywhere.
The old cliche is the backup quarterback is the most popular guy in town because they haven't seen him play yet. But they've seen Justin Fields play, or maybe they haven't. And they've seen Kenny Pickett play, or maybe they haven't. They've both been starting quarterbacks, and they both stunk up the joint. So I think maybe some of that seeps in. Maybe not, though. Maybe not, because, hey, go back to Howie. If everything's in a stasis and Justin Fields is coming out, yeah, I agree with you. Let's get Justin Fields on the field. But I've seen him on the field. So now it's a little bit different.
Justin Fields has some things that he does that excite people. I mean, the running.
Oh, a tremendous runner. Yeah.
Got a strong arm. You tend to ignore all the other shortcomings sometimes. And that would be the thing that you'd probably be a little fearful of happening if Jalen struggled and they turned on him.
All right. Brian Kelly, coach of LSU, might have tipped his hand yesterday. He was being asked about Jalen Daniels after his pro day, and he was singing his praises, which you knew he would, and just continually complimenting him his game and telling everybody what he would do when he gets to the NFL for Washington. He specifically said for Washington, and they have the number 2 pick. Does Brian Kelly know something that nobody else knows? Is this another James Franklin situation? Saying something you're not supposed to say? If somebody tells you something in confidence, you're not just supposed to go out there and spill it, like happened to the Eagles in this ongoing did they tamper negotiation investigation the NFL's doing. Are we writing Jaden Daniels in for the Skins, the Commanders at number 2, Damo?
I think Brian Kelly was just, in his mind, Jalen Daniels is so much better than May. And, that's what he was thinking. In his mind, he's thinking, Washington would be ill-advised to overlook Daniels.
You might be right.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense too. We were talking to Ian Cummings, our draft guy, yesterday, Damo. I said, well, Cliff Kingsbury is there. I want a guy who's going to run a spread offense, and that's Jaden Daniels. I think it makes sense too for Jaden Daniels to Washington. Not that he's a better prospect, that you can debate. Although I do love him for the modern NFL. I think he's the one guy who just and I have a bias against Caleb Williams, I freely admit, because I saw him play against Notre Dame. It was so god-awful, I can't get over it. And I know you can't do that as a scout. You have to throw the outliers out. But it was so awful, I sat there and said, what do people see with this kid? It was so bad. Jaden Daniels he reminds me of the, modern playmaker. Can run it, can throw it. Great accuracy. Dare I say Lamar Jackson-ish, not quite that athletic, but as far as throwing the football as well, I think he's going to be a big star. He's my number 1 quarterback, and I'm in an island there, but I love the kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I'll take Drake May, so we'll go one apiece. That's perfectly fine.
Don't turn on that Notre Dame game, Damo. It'll turn you on Caleb Williams quick.
Yeah, I'm a May guy, and he supposedly threw very well. I got to watch some of it on the NFL Network. People do get work, and I get it. It's football. It's during the spring. Everybody wants to stay 365 days engaged. He's throwing against air. And he and everybody else did the same thing. How can you really tell?
My favorite pro day of all time, Damo, was Johnny Manziel's. Remember Johnny Manziel throwing over the broom? Yeah. Oh my God, he's throwing over a broom. Look at that touch.
Yeah.
And then off camera, he went to do another line, and maybe that foreshadowed. I'm exaggerating.
The thing about those three quarterbacks, they're not all going to be good, successful. I mean, the odds say two max probably. One of them is going to be a bust.
Yep.
Right now.
Situation means everything. That's another reason I cringe for Caleb Williams. He's going to Chicago.
Yeah.
And the Bears have been known to mishandle quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Well,
you got a point, John.
Not exactly a.
Well, Washington's not great. Yeah, but they've changed. I have some hope because I think for the first time in a long time, obviously they're better. I don't even love Josh Harris from his time here with the Sixers, but he's a hell of a lot better than Daniel Snyder. And I think Dan Quinn is a competent coach.
Yeah. And he's got a good staff.
Yeah, and he's got a good staff.
Yeah, I don't know that he's got a good staff because I think the Eagles dodged a bullet in their hiring of their offensive coordinator, as a matter of fact. But that's just me. We'll see what he does down in.
You're a hater, Jody. You're a hater.
He's talking about Cliff. He's talking about Cliff.
Cliff Kingsbury. You want me to hold my hand up?
But Dama was talking about Brian Johnson.
Him too. Yeah. I'm a Cliff Kingsbury hater. And I got nothing against Brian Johnson except he sucked last year.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. He's terrible.
Yeah.
And he paid for it with his job, which I think he should have. Might be the nicest guy in the world and may even be good somewhere else where he's not working with Jalen Hurts. Maybe that whole dynamic was a problem, but he was bad enough here that he deserved to be fired. So if that's what you were thinking of, Damo, okay, I'll sign on for that one too. But I'm an anti-Kingsbury guy. So good luck taking Jaden Daniels. They'll rue that day in Washington as well. But I like what the general manager's done in Washington. I do think they've upgraded their front office. All right, what are you doing Saturday afternoon, Domowitch? Assuming you're in front of the TV somewhere, the wife doesn't have you out to paint in the backyard, the back of the house, whatever. If you're in front of your TV on Saturday afternoon, what are you watching? Will you have Fox on? Do you know what is on Fox Saturday afternoon?
Give me a hint.
The first UFL game of the season.
UFL.
Come on, Dama. You got to be there in front of the TV. UFL action this weekend. Here's a question I don't know the answer to. I hopefully one of you two guys do. What kind of kickoff are they going to do in the UFL?
I think they're doing the XFL kickoff. I think. I'm not 100%.
Neither am I.
I think they've kept it. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I think USFL is a better name than UFL. I think XFL is a better name than UFL. So they screwed it up and took the worst name possible. Yeah, spring football is never going to work. I'm sorry. I like it for the fact it gives players opportunities to keep, and the NFL will sign a host of the better UFL players when right before training camps are set to open. I like that part of it, but man, it's just people aren't going to watch it. I mean, they just aren't. They don't like minor league product.
Yeah, but Johnny Mac, it's football and it's on TV.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not going to be terrible. It would just, I don't know the quality of football. The TV numbers will not be that bad. If you can bet on it, it's football. People are going to tune in. Mark my words on that one. But here's my question. You, Damo, if you want to feel free to jump in here, but it's more of a McMullen question. Where's The Rock going to be Saturday? Isn't he still tied? Didn't he?
Yeah. He's a big part of the UFL.
Hello, how many days till WrestleMania? He's going to be wrestling at WrestleMania. How can he be a UFL game?
Yeah,
who is he more dedicated to? WWE or the UFL? Make a call, Rock.
It's easy when you got the private jet treatment to be a bunch of places. He'll be at a UFL game and then he'll take the private. He'll be in Philly all week. So yeah,
he's got a lot of money invested in that league.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's got a lot of money to invest. So
that's true too.
Rock will be at Lincoln Financial Field April 6th and 7th, I believe. And I will be there too on
WWE.
Yeah, WrestleMania, Lincoln Financial Field. Lane Johnson will be there. Who else? BG will be there. BG is a big wrestling fan. Vinny Curry, super wrestling fan. Vinny will probably be back for that. So a lot of Eagles.
How about Kelsey?
Kelsey's more
He's a
of
high-profile guy.
Yeah,
He knows where the spotlight shines.
Oh yeah, he's savvy. I don't think but he is savvy. He would bring WWE brought that big gold belt around for all the Eagles. Kelsey grabbed it right away because he knows he's savvy. He's savvy. So he got the PR. He got the PR from it.
All right, Damo, I will ask this question not every time we have him, but once a month, somewhere thereabouts until we get to August. You got your passport updated for Brazil? Yeah, come on. The first ever Jeff Lurie, if he was excited about anything, more than anything else, more than Sirianni and his attitude, and he knows how to fix things, well, it seemed to me like he was more excited about Brazil than anything else. So the owner is pumped and psyched that the Eagles are the forerunner into South America. And like, did it suck Paul Domowitch in enough to go, yeah, I better get my passport updated?
Yeah, no.
Well delivered, Damo. Very well delivered.
By the way, Dave Zangaro, who is a world traveler, Dave loves to travel on his all-time, never mind, informed me that you not only need your passport, you need a visa for Brazil. So, it's going to be a lot of hurdles for that one.
Yeah. I have not been on an airplane since COVID.
Really?
Yeah.
Lucky you, man.
Yeah, me neither.
It's gotten bad.
We've been able to stay home. Good for us, Damo. I just thought you might be heading to Brazil. I thought maybe Jeff Lurie won you over, but apparently he didn't win me over either. All right, so Damo, so if you're not watching UFL on Saturday, what are you doing? Watching the Phillies? You got a to-do list for the wife? You're going to be with me betting the Arkansas and Florida derbies. I know you're a under-the-radar degenerate horse racing better just like me. What will you be doing Saturday?
Well, I think I'll start with something exciting like cutting the grass and then maybe watch a British detective series. How's that?
That's not bad.
You and Matt now with those British detectives.
I'm with them. I'm sorry, but the Brits do TV better than we do. I'm sorry, they do.
Yeah.
The better.
Is your TV constantly on Acorn TV? Is that the network that has?
Well, I need a new one, Damo. So if you got a new one, text me. Let me know.
Try Trigger Point on Peacock.
Trigger
Point.
All right.
And on Peacock, that's better. That's actually American.
Outstanding. Okay. Yeah.
All right, Damo. Always a pleasure, brother. We'll talk to you again next week. Have a great weekend, bud.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, Damo.
All
right, Trigger Point. I'm writing that down. I got Peacock. I might as well jump on that.
I have Peacock too. I got enough other crap I got to watch. I'm not getting into it.
Yeah, I got too much. I'm way behind. But he's right. And Macnow's right. They're the best ones. Not all of them, because occasionally you get but the best ones are phenomenal. I agree with those guys.
I don't know why, but it just, and this will tell you something about me. British accents for women, alluring. British accents for men, stupid.
Well, when they call women ma'am, it sounds like mom. It sounds like you're calling a mom. That bothers me. But other than that, I'm fine with it. Especially when Daniel Craig would say mom as James Bond. That bothered me.
I got no use for male British accents whatsoever, but I do like women, a woman with a alluring British accent.
I like a woman with any accent. So
we're not going to be talking in British accents here for the hour left on Birds 365, but we will talk plenty Eagles, and we will do so with Ed Pratt. He's going to join us a little over 20 minutes from now. Eagles fans, in my best non-British accent, let me give you a helping hand and try and save you some money, specifically on your car insurance. Birds fans, here's your chance to save upwards of 40% on your car insurance right now from one of JAKIB Sports' great partners. here's what you need to do. Call one of the two managing general partners. That would be either Fran or Jim, and tell them you're a friend of both JAKIB Sports and Birds 365.
Hi, I'm Jim Muehlbronner, Managing Partner at Delval Insurance Group. Give us a call. We're a local, knowledgeable agency, not an 800 number. Go Birds!